This tutorial will walk you through completing your year-end questionnaire and submitting your annual census data to CrossPlans. If you have additional questions at the end of this video, please reach out to your plan consultant for further assistance. Confirming and collecting this data each year allows us to ensure that we're aware of any changes to your business or plan and can provide the best possible service. To begin, visit the Plan Sponsor Link site by clicking the link in the email you received, or by visiting crossplans.com and clicking Login in the top right-hand corner. Your username will always be your email address on file with CrossPlans. If this is your first time accessing the site, you will need to click the First Time User link and enter your email to receive a temporary password. If you can't remember your password, you can select the Forgot Password link to reset it. Once you've entered your username and password, click Sign In to access the site. To submit your plan's data, select Begin Task next to the Year-End Data Collection Project under your plan in the My Active Tasks section. The initial step will take you through confirming data that we currently have on file for your plan. On the General tab, you can add or edit the general contact information for the plan. You will have the opportunity to make updates for specific contacts later in the questionnaire. If you need to make any changes, you can use the Add and Edit buttons to update or add data and the Notes buttons to add additional information. As you save each step and move on to the next, a green checkbox will appear over the section you have just completed. You can also skip ahead and navigate to other sections by clicking the gray Play button at the top of each task. On the Company Data task, you can make changes to your plan's EIN, entity type, and payroll information. You can also edit the NAIC code associated with the plan. This code is used on the 5500 to describe the nature of your business. If your code is left blank, CrossPlans will work to find the code that best suits your company. On the Principals tab, you will need to identify all of the owners of your business for the collection period. If changes took place that require specific notes, you can add these using the Notes button in the top right-hand corner. Be sure that all ownership adds up to 100%. Since some family member relationships create ownership due to attribution, we will need you to provide additional information regarding relatives of the owners who work for the company on the Family tab. You can edit or delete existing listings and add new ones as necessary. In this case, the owner's wife is already listed, so we can save and move on to the next step. If any owner of your company or spouse of a majority owner owns another business, please indicate the company and ownership information here. This will allow us to assist you in determining whether a controlled or related group exists that requires additional testing. In this case, the owner does not have any other businesses, and the data for his spouse's company is already listed. So once we confirm the information provided is accurate, we can save and move on to the next step. On the next step, please confirm that your plan contacts are correct. If an existing contact needs to be updated, click the Add button next to their name to make a contact change request. All plans should have at least one census contact who submits the annual census data, main contact who receives or is copied on the majority of plan communications, a billing contact, and an authorized signer who is the primary signer on the plan document. Most plans will also have a financial advisor listed. Use the Notes section to request that we add a new contact. You will need to provide the contact name, type, phone number, and email address. Keep in mind that if you use a record keeper like John Hancock or American Funds, you may need to reach out to them directly to have them make these changes on their end. The annual employer questionnaire may look different depending on the type of plan you're submitting data for. If you're unsure of an answer, you can use the Notes feature to add more information, and your plan consultant can reach out to discuss this further once we've received the full data back. We will review a few of these questions in detail now, but be sure to take the time to read each question carefully as you're completing the questionnaire. In an effort to help ensure that our clients are providing the most accurate possible compensation data, we're now requiring drafts of all applicable Schedule C and K-1 documents prior to completing your annual work. You can upload these on the Approvals tab under the Documents section. In this example, we'll jump to the Approvals tab to upload the Schedule C draft for Robert Dunder so that we don't forget to do this later. Once the document is uploaded, you can return to the prior page by going back to the last step without a green check mark and indicating that the Schedule C has been uploaded. Please be sure to review any final contribution data with your CPA and let us know if adjustments are needed to the Schedule C or K-1 income prior to funding. For defined contribution plans, you will have a question about the 402G limit. This is the limit for all employee deferrals in all 401k plans. If your plan does not allow 401k deferrals, you can select no and move on to the rest of the questionnaire. Most plans will not have anyone exceed this limit, as payroll companies generally cap this automatically. Issues most commonly occur when a mid-year payroll change is made, or if employees contribute large amounts into multiple unrelated plans. If you answer yes, be sure to include relevant details in the box below. In this case, Dwight notified his employer that he over-contributed since he was participating in both the Dunder Mifflin and Shroot Farms plan for 2021. This is not a common situation, and in this example, it would be the employee's responsibility to notify the employer when this occurs and if a correction is needed. To further help us prioritize your work, we ask that you provide your unextended tax filing deadline, as well as whether or not you intend to file an extension for the impacted plan year, in this example, 2021. We have defaulted the drop-down menu to show you the two most common deadlines for calendar year plans, but if you operate on a different fiscal year, you may need to manually enter your filing deadline. If you have other deadlines you need your contribution or testing information by, please add a note to indicate this. CrossPlans will always calculate any required contributions for your plan, but if your plan allows for additional discretionary match or profit sharing that you would like to fund, please indicate this by using the drop-down menu and adding applicable notes so that our team can prepare this. Discretionary match is generally funded as a uniform formula, for example, 50% of deferrals up to 4% of pay, to all employees who contributed during the plan year. Profit sharing is given to all eligible employees regardless of whether they contribute, but can allow for some additional disparity to give the owners or key employees a larger benefit. If you would like an additional matching contribution calculated, please list the formula or target dollar amount of the match you want to fund. If you would like to see a profit sharing scenario instead, you can indicate the amount you've budgeted for this contribution or note that you'd like an optimum illustration to maximize the owners and minimize contributions to non-highly compensated employees. You can request multiple illustrations, but please note that there may be additional fees to run multiple discretionary contribution scenarios. In this example, the plan wants to fund the lesser of the optimum contribution, or $75,000. For plans with Safe Harbor 3% contributions, another common goal may be to see how much the owners can receive without funding additional contributions to the non-HCE employees beyond the required 3%. Our consultants will reach out to you if we need additional clarification on your goals or objectives. Once you have completed all of the required questions indicated by a red asterisk, click Save and move on to the 5500 and Census Reminders page. On this page, you'll find additional questions related to the plan's Fidelity bond. If the plan covers anyone other than a single owner and their spouse, you must secure a Fidelity bond for the plan. This is particularly important because the bond amount is reported to the DOL on the 5500 each year. In this case, our sample plan has a Fidelity bond through their E&O provider, so I will be sure to upload a copy on the document section before I submit for final approval. The remaining steps of this page are reminders for the census that you will submit in the next step. Please review these carefully before moving on. On the Employees page, you'll see a list of the census information being requested for the plan. If you've submitted data through our secure portal before, you should already have a template with employees who were active at the end of the prior plan year. We've also done our best to add data for new plans when available, although you may need to add some additional information for these plans, such as full employee social security numbers. To start, you can ignore the Issues Have Been Detected warning at the top of the census. When you finish entering the census data, you will review these again to see if there are any outstanding data errors. The entry fields that you see will be customized based on your type of plan. Generally, you can leave the Safe Harbor or non-Safe Harbor match columns blank unless you calculate your match on a per pay period basis with no annual true-up. In this case, you'll want to indicate the match amounts calculated at payroll so that we can compare them against what was funded into the plan. For small plans, you can add employee hours, wages, and the necessary contribution information by clicking the Edit button to the far right of their name. You can also use the Add button to the top right of the census template to add any newly hired or missing employees. For larger plans, we suggest exporting the template to Excel, adding the necessary information, and re-importing. When you export the spreadsheet, you can click the Instruction tab to view formatting requirements and descriptions for each of the columns. If this information is not easily accessible to you in a payroll report, we suggest copying and pasting the data from this tab and sending an email to your payroll provider requesting this information in an Excel file. To complete the census data, you should review the existing information for errors, add any employees that were hired during the prior plan year, add relevant termination dates, and hours, compensation, and deferral information for all employees. Unless your plan has specific exclusions, the wages should be the true gross wages, including all pre-tax deferrals, both to the 401k plan and those made into Section 125 or HSA plans that do not appear on the employee's W-2. Keep in mind that we need accurate information for all employees who earned wages in the plan year, even if you don't believe that they are eligible to participate in the plan. The deferral amounts should be pulled directly from your payroll provider. This will allow us to compare those numbers against the deferrals funded into the plan accounts and ensure all employee accounts are whole. Since Robert Dunder earns his compensation on a Schedule C, I'm indicating $0 in wages on the census, knowing that CrossPlans will pull the necessary income data from the Schedule C I uploaded. Once the census is complete, use the Import button to load the data back into the system. Please note that if your census has a totals line, the dialog box may show the upload has skipped one employee. This is not a problem so long as the number of employees imported matches the number of employees on your census. Before you save your census and move on to the final approval step, review the remaining data errors using the Click to View Issues link. In this case, none of the warnings listed are due to inaccuracies on the census data, so we can disregard them and move on to the final steps. If you have issues uploading your census template, please send a copy to your plan consultant via the secure file exchange. They can typically reformat the file and upload it back to the site for you to review and approve. To find your plan consultant's contact information, click the drop-down menu at the top right of the portal and select Contact Us. Once you've established who your plan consultant is, return to the main portal and click on the Secure File Exchange tab to send the file directly to your consultant. From here, you can wait to complete your year-end data until you hear back from CrossPlans, or return to resume work on the questionnaire by clicking on My Active Tasks and then Begin Task. Before approving and submitting your data, be sure to upload any remaining documents that we may need to complete your plan administration work. This may include brokerage account statements, a copy of your plan's Fidelity bond, or employee Schedule Cs or K-1s. In this case, I've already uploaded Robert's Schedule C, but still need to add the plan's Fidelity bond, so I will do that now. Once all items are completed, you can click Sign and Submit to formally send the questionnaire and census information through to our team. You should receive a confirmation email notifying you that this is complete and that your plan consultant will reach out to you with any additional questions. If you have any additional questions or concerns about the census data collection process, please reach out to your plan consultant for further assistance. Thank you for your continued partnership with CrossPlans and for taking the time to ensure that we have the most complete and accurate data possible for your plan.